Welcome to this episode of Barter and Business. Today we will be talking about the concept of outside the money box with Jen Anderson, and let's get into it. Welcome to Barter and Business, where we delve into bartering through interviews and personal stories. From my trading business to BarterPay, the trading journey started with my dad's business. Now, as a BarterPay franchise owner, I juggle family life and coaching. Tune in for industry secrets and inspiring conversations. Welcome to another episode of Barter and Business. Last week we talked about the smoke and mirrors of business with Jen Anderson, and we're here again to talk about outside the money box. So welcome again, Jen. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. So I would like to, as your barter coach, I would like to have a bit of a discussion around your experience with BarterPay. So essentially my job is to grow your business in the barter world while you continue to focus on the cash world. And in return, you earn barter credits, and then you can spend those barter credits with anyone else in the system. So that being said, and speaking about what we spoke about last week of abundance and outside the money box, like I call it, we are all programmed to think success, all these things that we want, the house, all that, you have to have money, and that's the money box. And so when you can get outside of that, say with a barter system or barter credits, it really opens up your world. So for myself personally, I have been experiencing and living abundance without having, tons more money, but through the barter system. So I'd love to hear your experience with BarterPay, with bartering in general, and how you've used some barter credits and how you plan to use them in the future.
I just think it's such a brilliant concept. I was in as soon as you explained and said that line to me, that one just spoke to me so much of this is so fascinating. And as somebody who has run money programs and money mindset and done money programs and money mindset programs and all of the coaching things around it, it has been a really fascinating play with, I would have said I had detached money from abundance completely, and it's pushed me even that one little bit further, and I love that. So the best example of that, I think, is even today, this morning. My house is getting cleaned today through my barter credits as I sit here having a chat with you. And not that I couldn't have paid for a house cleaner, but it just feels like a fun money system to play with too. And I really, really enjoy that. I enjoy looking up what am I going to spend my barter credits on next? Or what's on my wish list to spend barter credits on too is really exciting to me too, because I know you're so passionate about really working that whole circle together of what would you like to see in here, and you're so open to the conversation and different businesses and that sort of thing too. I think that's a really beautiful piece. I don't know if I would love BarterPay as much, to be honest, if I wasn't working with you. So I really appreciate that about you. I've wanted a mechanic because there's this little really annoying thing with one of my cars, and you're it's gonna happen. And now we're in the process of making that happen in the next couple of weeks. I've had the most glorious facial, which then turned into a client actually that I would have never have known her before at all. Again, felt just energetically drawn to her. There was something about her that I was I've had facials before. I drove a little bit farther, to be honest, to go for a facial than I normally would, but it was absolutely amazing. And then she ended up working with me on the other end of it, right? So it's just a really fascinating world. I also I'm not big on networking events. That's something that's just never really, it's kind of in that smoke and mirrors to me a little bit. I find it's not super authentic sometimes, not to say that it always is or that anybody that goes to those is inauthentic. That's not what I'm saying at all. I just haven't been called or drawn to those spaces in a few years for sure. And so it has definitely opened up different areas of opportunity that way without me having to do something that feels uncomfortable to me, that isn't aligned with how I work. So that has been really beautiful as well. The other piece I really like playing with, because it's cross Canada, is we're looking at traveling next year out east. And so I've been like looking into what's available in Ontario and what's available here and there. And there's so many different experiences. Like we want to go whitewater rafting, which is available in Alberta, and we just haven't made it there yet. And I'm so like, please let us get there before the season has ended this year. We'll figure that out. But there's lots of opportunities like that in Ontario too, I found. And so that part, I just love that it's not, I love local. Always been like big on my heart and important to me, but I also love that I can support many more Canadians just in general, and that's a big important piece to me too.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, even with the options, there's no box. And so
Yeah.
Our founder John always says there's no, like, BarterPay works for every business if the business owner is willing to make it work for their business. So it's more about the mindset, which is all about what we've been talking about today.
Yeah.
And the abundance mindset, and being able to see that there's another way to bring abundance into your life, into your business, and it doesn't always have to be money. So I love that about Barter.
I love that so much. I also would love to like touch on that through the pandemic. I've always loved local, but through the pandemic, it became even more important to me. And you know, we went through some of those trying times that we were seeing different unprecedented moments before. And I was like, yes, absolutely, this is happening for me in this way too, to find different resources to be able to support local. And I love that about BarterPay so much, because it feels like I just feel genuinely great when I can be able to support Canadians, right? Like there's just such a cool feeling around that. Nothing against any other countries at all, like not like that at all, but really that just feels so good that there's so many different things available to support other Canadians with.
This sounds kind of cheesy, but it's so true. But I have personally found that bartering makes you happy.
Yeah.
So how happy do you feel that your house is being cleaned and you traded your time, something that you're really good and passionate about with your programs or your one-on-one coaching, you've traded that for someone to clean your house.
Yeah.
And if you had to choose between the two, of course you're going to just do the coaching.
Yeah.
That's what lights you up versus cleaning your house.
Yep.
So in your experience and other people that I've found in my portfolio of businesses, is bartering just makes you happy.
It does.
So it's just a fun thing to do. And going back to what we've talked about this whole time of having fun in business and raising your vibration. And so I find that I can do that through bartering and through my work. Like my work is this, and it's so fulfilling and raises my vibration, which just brings in more good people like you. So
absolutely. It's so beautiful. Mm-hmm. It really is.
Thank you so much for sharing your time and experience with me and being so vulnerable and honest. And I resonate with that and appreciate that in every human that I meet. So thank you for that. Just in closing this series out, I would love to know, and I think our viewers would love to know, is there a specific piece of advice that you've been given that has truly transformed your life that you feel would benefit other people?
I don't know that it's like a specific, I heard it here and it's like, this is my absolute truth, but I do come back to over the last few years of really just like grounding back into myself. And what success means to me is a wide umbrella, instead of just like success equals this amount of dollars in the bank or success equals this. Being able to bring everything in together. And I think that's where BarterPay comes in too, right? There's money, there's supporting local, there's all of these different things. There's family, there's health, there's lifestyle, all of that. And really just grounding back into that there's no perfect balance. No day is going to be perfect that way. But in the overall arch of life, does everything feel good? Yes. Does this not feel good? Then I'll shift, and really just letting myself move and shift and pivot instead of staying boxed into one path that I started with or one way to do things. As we can get in business with strategy and that sort of thing, there's always many truths available for us.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here and sharing your story and your time with us.
I appreciate you so much. I'm so glad you came into my world.
I feel the same.
Yes.
Wonderful. And lastly, how can people contact you if they'd like to know more?
You can find me on Instagram at Into the Deep with Jen, and I love to chat over there.
Thank you so much for joining us. That concludes our series with Jen Anderson. So definitely go check her out on Instagram if you'd like to know more. I'm personally working with her and can vouch for how incredible she is. So check it out and then stay tuned for our next episode of Barter and Business. That's a wrap for Barter and Business. I appreciate you joining me in exploring the world of bartering. Keep trading and living your passion. Until next time.